So what if the whole AI revolution doesn't create a bunch of new jobs, but actually gets rid of them? We're going to walk through this deeply researched scenario that explores that exact possibility. Think of it as a step-by-step look at one potential future. And, it all starts with the reality that we are all seeing today. You've seen these headlines, right? They're everywhere. It feels like every single week another big company is announcing layoffs, and they're pointing the finger right at AI and this new era of efficiency. This isn't some distant sci-fi idea anymore. It's happening right now. Okay, so where does a trend like this actually lead? Now, let's be super clear. This isn't me making a prediction. This is an exploration of one plausible and, frankly, pretty unsettling future that's based on analysis making the rounds inside the AI industry as we speak. To start, let's put you in the driver's seat. Imagine you're a CEO, a good one, running a company with 1,000 employees. You genuinely care about your people. But then you get a pitch, one that's almost impossible to ignore. An AI company comes to you with an offer you can't refuse. An AI agent that can do the work of a junior employee for just 1/5 of the cost. You're cautious, of course. You decide to just treat it as a tool. Everything still needs human approval. You're not firing anyone. Not yet, anyway. But here's what happens next. The AI agents are just, well, they're better. They're faster, they're more efficient, and their capabilities are literally doubling every 7 months. And your best human performers, they're now the ones who just let the AI do all the work and click approve, which is actually slowing the whole system down. This creates a really painful dilemma. Your earnings are up, which should be fantastic news, but your competitors, the ones who went all in on AI and cut their human staff, they're doing even better. Their costs are lower, their earnings are higher, and their stock is soaring while yours is falling. The market is actively punishing you for keeping people employed. And this is the breaking point. The board comes to you with an ultimatum. This isn't about ethics anymore. It's about pure corporate survival. So you rationalize it. You tell yourself saving some jobs is better than letting the whole company go under. You compromise, and you fire half your junior staff. All right, now let's switch gears and see how a decision like that plays out on a human level. We're going to follow the story of a woman named Alice, who represents the millions of people caught in the middle of this massive shift. See, the AI's progress, it doesn't stop. It just keeps setting a new standard that humans physically cannot meet. Performance plans get rolled out, but they're completely hopeless. And soon, the AI comes for the managers, too, coordinating entire teams with perfect efficiency. In the end, over 90% of junior staff and their managers are let go, and Alice is now out of a job. And this is where we see the central paradox of this new AI economy. As Alice is scrolling through the news, she sees that on paper, everything looks amazing. GDP is climbing, the stock market is hitting record highs, all thanks to this incredible AI-fueled productivity. But at the exact same time, unemployment is just skyrocketing. And it gets worse, a lot worse. Unemployment eventually smashes right through 25%. I mean, that's a number higher than even the darkest days of the Great Depression. And on the very same day that this grim record is broken, the S&P 500 hits another all-time high. The system is working perfectly for the corporations, but it's failing everybody else. With basically no jobs available anywhere, Alice realizes no one is coming to save her. So she has to shift from being a job seeker to an activist, desperately trying to find a solution when all the traditional safety nets are breaking down around her. She throws all her energy behind one big idea: Universal Basic Income, or UBI. The concept's pretty simple: a direct payment of $1,000 a month to every single citizen, just to provide a basic financial floor in this new automated economy. It sounds like a lifeline, right? But the political backlash is immediate, and it is fierce. This is the official response. The government's own AI czar just dismisses the entire movement with a single blunt quote, and that effectively shuts down the whole debate. The people in power, they just don't see the crisis that's unfolding for millions of people on the ground. So the movement gets crushed really fast from two sides. Online, the big corporate-controlled platforms start censoring the organizers. Live stream links to protests just mysteriously vanish. At the same time, the mainstream media is completely fixated on some celebrity drama, proving a really painful truth: politics is often driven more by vibes than it is by facts. Okay, so that's the story of how things could go wrong. Now, let's pull the camera back and look at the actual theory that explains all of this. It's a framework that totally reframes how we think about this powerful new resource. So first, we need to understand a pretty well-known concept in economics called the resource curse. Think about countries that are super rich in something like oil or diamonds, like Venezuela or Nigeria. The country is wealthy on paper, but all that wealth gets concentrated in a tiny little elite, which leads to massive corruption and widespread poverty for almost everybody else. And that brings us to the intelligence curse. It's the exact same principle, but the resource isn't oil you dig out of the ground. It's intelligence being created in a server farm. All the wealth and power gets concentrated in the hands of the few companies that own the AI, and because human labor just isn't needed anymore, well, humans lose all their economic leverage, all their bargaining power. Now, you might be thinking, hang on, technology has always replaced jobs, but it's always created new ones too. And, that has been true in the past. But this time really might be different, and it's because of the unique nature of AI itself. This entire scenario really just rests on 5 core assumptions. AI will keep getting better and cheaper than human labor. Companies, which exist to maximize profit, will choose AI. Competitive pressure will force even the reluctant companies to adapt. And finally, media and government will be heavily influenced by this new source of wealth and power. Just take a second and ask yourself, do any of those really sound that implausible? So what makes AI so different? First off, it's intelligent. This isn't just a better tool, like a faster shovel or a more powerful tractor. No, this is a tool that can perform cognitive tasks, thinking, planning, creating, better than a human can. Second, it's autonomous. The latest generation of AI can run entire projects for months at a time with zero human input or oversight. It doesn't need a manager. It is the manager. And third, and this is the absolute kicker, the most critical part, it's general. A self-driving car is good at one thing, driving. But a general AI, the kind that companies are racing to build right now, is designed to be good at, well, everything. Its goal is to replace labor across the entire economy, not just in one little sector. This all leads us to one fundamental and pretty terrifying question. If wealth is created not by human labor, but by artificial intelligence, what bargaining power do we have left? What is our value in an economy that no longer needs us to function? That right there is the core dilemma of the intelligence curse.